Hey folks, welcome back to Mainville UTV and Outdoors. We have another round of modifications going into our 2021 Maverick Sport XRC. In this episode, we're going to be covering rugged radios unit that's going to be hard mounted. We also have a speaker and some handheld units that we can hand out to people in our riding group so that we can communicate out on the trails. Let's get into this installation. Okay, so first things first, big thank you to dirtylife.ca for actually getting everything that we need here today. So big shout out to them, always supporting us. First up, we have the 25 watt head unit. This is GMRS. There are a lot of rules regarding how this works, especially in Canada. You don't need a license here, but you do have to have a certain output wattage limit. I'm not going to give you all of the advice in course and training. I am not an expert, but there are rules and regulations that you need to be aware of, especially in Canada. This unit here is going to be kind of the main piece. This is going to be installed in the Maverick. That's what we're doing today. There's a lot of brackets that'll help you do that. These brackets are specifically made for the Maverick Sport and the Commander so that we can install this in the glove box. It's going to be really cool. You're going to love that. So we have that, as well as all of the pieces we're going to need. There's a magnetic mount, so we can put that wherever we'd like, some wire harnesses, and of course hardware. These are the brackets that you're going to see. This is going to be on the glove box, and it will support the actual whole head unit. They also have like an intercom that can be installed as well, but if you're not going to do that, they have a cover plate that will block it. After you have that installed, you have the actual false floor, so that you can still use the majority of your glove box for gloves or whatever. You're not actually going to be losing that much space. It's a really deep tub, so this is a perfect design and a perfect spot for it. After that, we have the speaker. This will obviously be significantly louder than the built-in speaker that's on the radio. We can put this wherever we'd like. It is waterproof, mudproof, the whole shebang. They are used to the terrain that we are riding, so of course everything is designed for it. Everything's on the back that you're going to need for volume and turning it on and off. So pretty neat. Here is the stubby antenna that we're going to be running. We're going to give this a whirl. Bigger antenna, more better, but for this, I think I want to try and hide it a little more stealth somewhere without interference of as much metal as possible if I can help it. And then, finally, we have the actual handheld units. So these guys, what we're going to do is on the false floor of the tub, which you'll see installed later, I'm going to have these sitting in there so that if someone I pair up with in my riding group, I can say, hey, if you want to, have some communications, I can hand them one of these and they'll be good to go. So I think I might even install some chargers inside. I think that'll be pretty cool. So that's basically the whole setup that we have going on, minus a few little accessories and things like that, spare batteries or whatever. I just wanted to brush over what we are going to install today, and that's basically it. So big thanks again to Rugged Radios and dirtylife.ca. You guys rock. Thanks for getting me a deal on this stuff. Just gonna grab a bracket here. So to help you guys kind of visualize what's going on, in the Maverick Sports and Commanders, you have this big glove box, and it's fairly deep, honestly. So these brackets, what they're gonna do is kind of just install like that. You're gonna cut out a hole and slam your radio in. And then you can run your leads out the back, and it's all tucked underneath the dash. So pretty smart spot to put this stuff, and it's well in reach of the driver. It's not uncomfortable. These units are fairly small width-wise, so you can reach over and get to that radio very easily. And your actual handset is going to be mounted wherever you'd like it, even closer. So really cool design. We're gonna start by pulling out this tub and getting to work. Okay, so there's the whole glove box taken out. You can see I already drew an outline here, and that's courtesy of the bracket. So basically you install your bracket and you'll notice it kind of fits, it only fits one way. It has a little bit of movement side to side, but if you line it up and just take a Sharpie or whatever, you can mark out the outline in here. The only important bit is this top line because there's not enough metal to cover up any mistakes. The rest of this, well, let's put it this way, you could screw it up pretty bad and you wouldn't even know. All you need to make sure is that you have enough plastic to mount on the 4 corners there. Cut this out and you'll be able to install this and start putting in the radio and everything else you have. So there we have it. A little bit of fine tuning. If you own one of these like air reciprocating saws, they're amazing for stuff like this. So I just drilled a big pilot hole essentially and cut away. So now I've got this exactly where I need it. I can actually mount this bracket and start installing everything else. Okay, so the next portion is to actually install the bracket that's going to hold the radio. I also have a slot here for an intercom, which I did not buy. So I have a cover plate that's going to cover that. So we're actually going to get this radio in here, and then it actually just slides into that bracket we just installed. And that's the majority of the job right there. And I'll show you what's going to happen to this storage unit afterwards and how we're going to get the wiring out of here. There it is, the complete unit all installed. You can see all the hardware on the side. That was actually included in the kit. See if I can get this to actually focus. There you go. Those are all done up. So now it's just a matter of literally sliding it in. So you get it installed there. Then we're gonna just move on to making sure we have a hole at the back. There's already a water drain hole here, and I think I'm just gonna put it a little bit higher, a new hole. I'm gonna run all of my stuff out of that. But we also have to put in the false floor bracket. So because all of this is gonna be taken up now by radio, they actually include a bracket that's gonna sit up here so you can still use a lot of your storage on top. So pretty cool stuff. I'll show you that in a sec. So this bracket is very obviously shaped. You kind of want to do this at this point because it's going to sit kind of naturally where it fits. I'm going to make sure it's level because I'm slightly paranoid and OCD like that, but something like that. I'll show you. And there's 3 points where you can actually screw that in, and you still have tons of storage in here. Most of the things that I shove in here will fit in this space, no worries. I've got the false floor in. It's probably super dark and you can't actually see anything, but there is a floor there. So now we have to make sure that we have a few things going in and out of this case. So once you have all of that established, you have your radio mounted up, you're gonna have to make sure that a microphone can get in there. You have to make sure that your antenna is hooked up at the back. And you also need to make sure that your wiring is also coming out. This unit, they want you to go directly to the battery. I'm not going to be doing that, but don't do as I do, do as I say. Go straight to the battery. If you have seen the mod playlist for the Maverick from way back, we actually did a fuse block at the front of the machine. And it's essentially going to be straight to the battery, just with a couple extra steps. And we are going to supply this unit with constant power. Now we just have to make sure that I'm gonna decide, I think I'm gonna do some holes in the side, and I'm gonna try and do some grommets and things like that, try and make it nice. But that's what you have to make sure is running in and out of this case, unless of course you have the intercom, then it gets a little more tricky. But yeah, let's get to work. One strange thing I'm realizing Rugged did, and I'm not entirely sure why, but the unit itself has an inline fuse, and then not only does the power, but the negative have another inline fuse. So they want 3 fuses on this unit, apparently. I can tell you what's gonna happen is I'm gonna cut all of these inline fuses out, and I'm gonna run this to my fuse block that is obviously fused when I get there. Because I don't understand why they have so much protection. It's redundant. I figured out a lot of things. I have a hole in the side. I'm gonna start running this stuff, all of these wires and stuff, and I'm gonna mock it up in the machine so you guys can see it. Look who showed up. He's not gonna get chicken nuggets like this, showing up late. They better have Tim Hortons though. If they have Timmy's, I'll forgive it. And they do. Okay, so here we are. There's our bin, all prepped up. I didn't assemble anything because we have a lot of wires that have to go in and out of this. But I did get the speaker installed. I have it positioned where it is for obvious reasons, so you can actually hear it in and outside of the vehicle. The power button's on the back here, and I just kind of routed the wires through the bracket, and I just made a hole right here so that all the wiring is in the same place, because I have the power for this the actual radio itself and the antenna here. The jack for audio has to go from this to the back of the unit here, and this also needs to be powered, and I have that fuse block under the hood right there. So I'm going to make 2 holes with grommets like I've done for all of my other accessories, run to here, and I'm going to protect the circuit at the same amperage as they had on their original wiring harness, as well as this here. So everything will be up there. If I ever have to troubleshoot electrical, I can do it real quick from under the hood anywhere I am. That's the reason why we do that. So everything's going to be good to go, and I'm going to start installing this bucket, and then it's just a matter of finding a spot for the antenna. Hey, keep it down!
Rude.
We're getting somewhere. I'm choking on a Timbit. Here we go. We have the speaker set up. The wiring is now through. This is the like sound auxiliary cable that has to go to the head unit. And the head unit is also wired, and both of those are through the firewall. So all of this is prepped for wiring. I'll show you. Here's my fuse block. This is where all of my accessories are run. So this one's like my halos, that's my rock lights, etc., etc. There'll probably be more after this. That way I can do all of my troubleshooting from here. These are the wires here for the actual head unit. These are the wires for the speaker. So they will be surge protected here, and I'll just mark what they are on the cover and we'll be set. Okay, so there it is. Hopefully it's focusing because I can't see. We have the radio and speaker wired up. I know it works because it made loud noises when I turned it on. So at this point, it's just a matter of figuring out where I'm going to mount the antenna. You can see if I can mount it kind of sneaky somewhere back there. But otherwise, wiring's done, nice and shrink wrapped and everything else. And we can close this up. Good to go. Whew. That's a lot of light over there. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself. I said I was going to put the antenna in a certain spot, but Drake actually found a really good spot to put it. You'll see it underneath my dash right there. So that's the stubby stealth antenna right there. And that's actually a metal frame bar that it's on. So in case I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter about how it's grounded. I don't think you do need a ground because I think the cable's doing exactly that. But the bracket is touching the frame, so either way, we're good to go. That's all tucked away, and you can see all the wiring back there. So there's the actual head unit. I did put in the cable for the mic here. Pretty nice little unit. And it's on a magnet that I mounted right there that came with the kit. There's the actual speaker, super loud, very happy about that because not only is this machine loud, but usually wherever I am is loud as well. So, okay, so on the back of the speaker, we'll turn that on. Got it like a third of the way up. We're gonna fire this bad boy up. Obviously you heard that. Hey Drake, hi. Can you do me a solid? Can you grab one of those handheld rugged radios and just stop whatever thing you are doing so you can help me? So we should hear Drake any second.
Kyle doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so there you go. Works like a charm. Hold on.
That's really loud. I can hear that out here.
Can you hear me all right though?
I can, not that I want to.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Drake. So there it is, folks. We have the installed antenna, the speaker. They're really cool. I'm like overly impressed by this magnetic piece right here that I'm really hoping lasts because it's awesome. Our actual head unit set up. And on top, you'll have everything you need for your handhelds that I can just hand out to whoever. Microphones, charging equipment, whatever. Rugged sent me this little bag. So all that's good to go. And we are ready to take this thing to FRCC. So first things first is getting these machines ready because I do have FRCC, but if you don't know what that is, I have videos that I'll link below. Filthy Redneck Country Club. And it's a riot. And having a way to communicate during all the chaos would be super awesome, as well as, of course, rides in the future. I think this is one of the coolest upgrades that I kind of wish I did sooner. We tried different headsets and stuff like that, and we just didn't like it. But I think this is perfect and exactly what I want to do. Especially the handsets, like if you want to just talk truck to truck or whatever on a convoy to the mountains like we do when we go to Revelstoke and go sledding and stuff like that. So there's just so many uses for this, and if I like it enough, I might even put another head unit in my truck in the overland build. So Yeah, I think this is great. You should definitely check them out. This is the rugged radio setup, and they have different setups for all sorts of different applications, side-by-sides, truck, Jeeps, whatever you got. So pretty cool. Make sure to go have a look at that. So if you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. I am by no means a radio expert. I'm not a ham operator, anything like that. As far as installation and rugged radios themselves and what I think about them, if you have any questions like that, leave them down below. And we'll see you guys next time.